Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive. You ready for this? We're taking a look at EON Reality and their new platform, EON Creativity.
Mm.
And it's all about how to boost creativity using AR, VR, and AI all together. Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, I think the really interesting thing here is EON Reality is saying this isn't just going to make creating things easier. It's going to fundamentally change the way we create,
Okay.
you know, by tapping into something called a flow state.
I've definitely heard of flow state, but
hmm
can we break that down just a little more? What does that actually mean, like in this context?
Sure. So it's that feeling when you're so absorbed in what you're doing that you kind of lose track of time.
Right.
You're completely focused. Ideas are just coming to you and you're just incredibly productive.
Like being in the zone.
Exactly. Yeah. Like being in the zone. And Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the psychologist who really kind of pioneered this idea of flow state.
Okay.
He found that people are their happiest and most fulfilled when they're in this state. And so EON Reality is building this whole platform to help you get into that flow state and stay there.
So you're not fighting distractions or, trying to force inspiration to come.
Yeah,
It's more about EON creativity, like putting you in that perfect creative headspace.
exactly.
That's a pretty big claim.
It is a big claim.
How do they actually plan on doing that?
So they're trying to do that from a couple different angles. The first is what they're calling an immersive creative ecosystem.
Okay.
So instead of you being stuck in your regular environment,
Uh-huh.
you're transported to this virtual space that's specifically designed to meet your creative needs.
So like if I'm a musician, I'm not just working on a track in my, bedroom or whatever.
Right.
I'm actually like immersed in a virtual recording studio.
Exactly. Or if you're a sculptor,
Wow.
imagine you're sculpting this, masterpiece on top of a virtual mountain
Okay.
with the northern lights right there above you.
That's cool.
It's about getting you out of your normal routine and into this environment that is going to really stimulate you and kind of spark your imagination.
That's wild. But even with, an amazing environment like that, sometimes the ideas just don't come,
Right.
That's where the AI comes in.
Exactly. That's exactly where the AI comes in.
Okay.
And EON Creativity is integrating AI in a way that goes beyond just simple automation.
Mm-hmm.
They call these AI-powered innovation tools, and they're really designed to be like a creative partner with you,
Interesting.
to help you get over those blocks and really push the boundaries of what you're capable of creating.
So it's not about the AI like doing the work for you.
Right.
It's about the AI helping you find your own creative voice.
That's the key difference here. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So let's say, for example, you're working on a screenplay
Right.
and you're just stuck. You can't figure out what the next scene is going to be. What EON Creativity says is the AI could step in and analyze what you've already written, look at the emotional tone, look at your writing style,
Wow.
and then offer you personalized prompts or maybe suggest a scene from a classic film that kind of mirrors the problem that you're having. It's almost like having a brainstorming partner who knows your work inside and out.
That's so much more nuanced than I was thinking.
Yeah.
But how does the AI actually know what prompt or what suggestion is actually going to work for you? I feel like it would have to have a really, really good grasp of not just your creative process,
Yeah.
but also like your individual personality, even your emotional state.
That's actually one of the most fascinating things about EON Creativity.
Really?
Yeah, they're using cutting edge AI
Okay.
to track a whole bunch of different signals all at the same time in real time. So things like your typing speed, your mouse movements, even subtle changes in your facial expressions. And by analyzing all of this data, they say the AI can then figure out how to tailor its assistance to exactly what you need at that very moment.
So it's like the AI is almost acting as a creative coach,
Yeah, like that.
kind of nudging you in the right direction and helping you stay in that flow state.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it actually goes even further than that.
Okay.
EON Creativity also incorporates something called biofeedback to help you become more aware of your own creative process as it's happening.
Biofeedback. What does that have to do with creativity?
So imagine you're working on this design project
Okay.
and you start to feel yourself getting stressed
Uh-huh.
or you're getting frustrated.
Right.
The AI, through sensors, maybe even like a wearable device,
Okay.
would detect these very subtle physiological changes in your body that are associated with stress. Like your heart rate might increase or your breathing might change.
Interesting.
And the platform would then try to give you personalized strategies for managing that stress and getting your focus back.
Like what?
It might be something like guided meditation or even shifting the lighting and the soundscape in your virtual environment.
Okay, now this is getting really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like EON Creativity isn't just supporting the creative process,
Right.
but it's also trying to help you develop better creative habits
Exact.
as you go.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But I think we're getting kind of deep into the details here.
Okay.
So let's maybe take a step back
Sure.
and talk about who this is actually for.
Okay.
Like, is EON Creativity designed just for professional artists? Or is it for hobbyists?
Right.
Or is it, for everyone in between?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, EON Reality is really envisioning this as a platform that can be used by and is going to be beneficial for a huge range of people.
Yeah.
Everyone from seasoned professionals to people who are just curious and starting out. They're talking about artists, musicians, writers, designers, filmmakers, students, educators, business innovators, like anyone who wants to explore their creative potential.
So it's not just about, creating masterpieces or anything.
Right.
It's about making creativity more accessible for everyone.
That's a big part of it, yeah. And one of the ways they're trying to do that is by making EON Creativity device agnostic.
Okay.
So you can access it on your phone, your tablet, your computer, or through a VR headset if you have one.
That makes sense.
They're really trying to break down those barriers to entry.
Okay. But let's get a little more specific
Sure.
about how different people could actually use this.
Okay.
So let's say I'm a high school student who's struggling to write essays.
Okay.
How could EON Creativity help me?
Well, imagine instead of staring at that blank page on your laptop,
Right.
you're transported to this virtual library,
Okay.
with
Yeah.
these towering bookshelves and a cozy fireplace.
Hmm.
And maybe the AI offers you some prompts based on your class readings. Or maybe it even creates this virtual character that interviews you about the essay topic to
Interesting.
help you kind of articulate your ideas.
That's definitely way better than a blank page.
I think so.
Okay, so now let's say I'm a small business owner and I need to come up with a new marketing campaign.
Okay.
Could EON Creativity help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could collaborate with your team in this virtual brainstorming space, and use the AI-powered tools to generate ideas, create mind maps, maybe even visualize different campaign concepts in 3D.
Wow.
The platform could even analyze market trends and customer data
Okay.
to help you make data-driven decisions about your campaign strategy.
So it's like having a whole virtual marketing agency
Kind of. Yeah.
that's tailored specifically to your business.
Right.
That's amazing. But what about professional artists?
Okay.
Like, what's in it for them?
So let's say you're a musician who's working on a new album.
Okay.
EON Creativity could give you this virtual recording studio where you can experiment with all these different instruments and sounds and even collaborate with other musicians remotely in real time. The AI could also analyze your compositions and suggest harmonies.
Okay.
Or even generate backing tracks based on your style.
That's why it sounds like it could really push the boundaries of music production.
Yeah, I think so.
But even with all these incredible features, creativity can still be really challenging.
Yeah.
And often really solitary,
Right.
So how does EON Creativity address that, the emotional and social aspects of being a creator?
Yeah, you're right. Creativity can be isolating, and even the most successful creators struggle with self-doubt and creative blocks.
Yeah.
And EON Creativity is trying to take this holistic approach by incorporating features that are going to support mental well-being
Okay.
and foster this sense of community.
So how do they actually build those elements into the platform?
Well, remember those biofeedback features we were talking about?
Yeah.
They can also be used to help you manage stress and anxiety.
Oh, interesting.
So let's say the AI senses that you're getting overwhelmed.
Okay.
They might suggest that you take a break, or it might offer some guided meditation exercises,
Right.
or even adjust the virtual environment to try to create a more calming atmosphere.
That's really cool. So like having this built-in support system
Right.
for your whole creative journey.
Yeah.
But what about the community aspect of it?
Okay.
How does EON Creativity help you connect with other creators?
So they're building this whole online community where users can connect with each other, share their work, participate in virtual workshops and challenges,
Okay.
and even collaborate on projects together.
Like what?
So imagine attending a virtual sculpture class
Wow.
with people from all over the world,
That's cool.
all from the comfort of your own home.
It really seems like EON Reality has thought of everything
They've tried to be pretty thorough.
to make this a comprehensive platform for creativity.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, with all this advanced technology and all this personalization,
Yeah.
is there a risk that the AI could become too controlling? you know,
Mm-hmm.
or that it might stifle individual creativity?
Yeah, that's a valid concern, and it's something that EON Reality says they're very aware of.
Well,
They really want to emphasize that they're trying to augment human creativity, not replace it.
okay.
So the AI is designed to be like a partner,
Mm-hmm.
not a dictator.
Right.
You're always in control, and you can choose how much or how little guidance you want from the AI.
So it's about finding that balance
Right.
between, support and freedom,
Yeah.
giving creators the tools they need,
Uh-huh.
but not taking away their agency.
Exactly. And, as with any new technology,
Yeah.
there's going to be a learning curve as we figure out how to best use these tools in our creative processes.
Right.
But the potential here is pretty undeniable.
It's definitely exciting to think about all the possibilities
Yeah,
that EON Creativity opens up.
it is.
But let's not get too carried away with the hype.
Okay.
What are some of the potential downsides or challenges that EON Reality needs to think about as they're developing this?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be making sure that EON Creativity is actually accessible to everyone.
Right.
And not just, the people who can afford the latest tech or who live in places with really good internet.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It would be a shame if this amazing tool for creativity ended up making the digital divide worse
Yeah, exactly.
instead of, trying to bridge it.
EON Reality needs to be really careful about pricing, hardware requirements, language support,
Right.
to make sure they're not leaving people out.
And what about data privacy?
Okay.
You've talked about how EON Creativity uses AI to track all this stuff. Like your mouse movements, your facial expressions. That's a lot of personal data.
It is.
So how do they make sure that information is protected?
Right. That's a huge question.
Yeah,
And it's something that people are thinking about more and more these days.
for sure.
EON Reality has to be completely transparent about how they're collecting, storing, and using all of this data. And they've got to have really strong security measures.
Right.
And they need to give users control over their own data.
Yeah, transparency and user control are so important.
Absolutely.
It's not just about protecting people's privacy.
Right.
It's also about building trust.
Exactly. If people don't feel like they can trust EON Reality with their information, they're not going to want to use the platform.
Yeah, I agree.
And, there are even bigger ethical questions to think about.
Like what?
As AI gets more and more sophisticated, how do we make sure it doesn't just keep repeating the same old biases that we see in art, music, all these different creative fields?
That's a good point. We don't want to end up with an AI that's just churning out the same old tropes and stereotypes.
Exactly. And EON Reality has to be proactive about addressing these ethical concerns, and really work to develop AI that is both powerful and responsible.
It sounds like they have a lot to figure out.
They do.
But it's really cool to see a company trying to push the boundaries of what's possible with technology and creativity like this.
Yeah.
Even if they don't get everything perfect right away.
Right.
Just the fact that they're asking these questions
Yeah.
and having these conversations is a step in the right direction.
I totally agree. This is a really important moment for creativity.
Mm.
And it's up to all of us, creators, technologists, consumers, everyone,
Yeah.
to shape how these tools are made and used.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Sure.
what's the one thing you want listeners to think about?
I would say EON Creativity is giving us a glimpse into a future where technology can help us be more creative, more connected, and more fulfilled.
Right.
But we have to approach this future with, both excitement, but also a critical eye, asking tough questions and demanding that these companies develop these technologies responsibly.
That's a good point. Technology is only as good as the people behind it.
Yeah.
And so to all of us, to make sure these tools are actually making our lives better, not worse.
Absolutely. And for anyone who wants to learn more,
Okay.
we'll put a link to EON Reality's white paper and presentation in the show notes.
Awesome.
Definitely worth checking out.
And hey, maybe this conversation will spark some creative ideas of your own.
I hope so.
That's all for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, stay curious and keep creating.